Hey dudes, it's me, Mighty the Armadillo here, and I am from the likes of the Mexi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Donkey Kong Land for the Game Boy. So last time, we basically managed to accomplish the third world, which appears to be Monkey Mountains and Chimpanzee Clouds. Which, all in all, that was actually by far the longest world in the game, because obviously it's like the first half of Monkey Mountains, and the second half is more accurately like Chimpanzee Clouds or something like that. So, yeah, today for this episode, and this will actually be not only the finale portion in terms of Donkey Kong Land, but also the final video of 2021, before we move on to a new year, 2022. And today, we're going to be hitting on to the final world in the game, known as Big Ape City. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting how the final world is going to take place in a city for once. So, I guess it does sort of feels a bit similar to Mario vs. Donkey Kong for some extent. So either way though, yeah, let's begin with the first level in this world, which appears to be Balloon Barrage, because obviously the main emphasis on this level is going to be involved around you able to actually hop onto one balloon to the other. So, but before we get into that though, a few things I want to explain before we're able to get into the forms of some more discussions about the forms for today. Today's day, of course, like I said before, this is the final day of 2021 today. And as a result, it is the 31st of December today, in this case in 2021. So, anyway, looking forward to able to see 2022 until tomorrow. So even then, don't get your hopes up, and somehow my jump button doesn't seem to come out at all. So, it's gonna be one of those moments, isn't it, where it comes to my jumping just not even worked out properly, but most of the time that because I'm still using the keyboard, I would have liked able to actually use the controller instead to make things a little bit easier. Just like in the forms of how it does it in our Let's Plays of Wario Land 2, well, to be more specifically in the finale portion of that game, as well as Wario Land 3, but I'm still pretty much stuck with the forms of just using the actual keyboard. You know, kind of like how we did the actual Let's Play of, well, WarioWare Inc. Minigame Mania, so, but I digress. So, few things I want to explain, and that is the fact that, well, usually we're still on the middle of the forms of the next new tour, which appears to be by the forms of, well, I'm talking about Mario Kart Tour, by the way, once again. And, this time around, we're going to be ended up in the new year for 2022. And what's interesting about that event this time around is the fact that not only does it bring back the forms of that familiar track from the likes of Mario Kart 7, which appears to be Bowser's Castle, specifically the Mario Kart 7 version of that track, which is kind of a cool thing, especially noticeable it's been like, well, 10 years since we actually last seen the 3DS version of that particular Bowser's Castle track. But also, not only do we get one, but two new variations of certain characters. To be more specifically, one from Rosalina and another one from Bowser. Well, first of all, let's get into the obvious one first. Cat Rosalina, which is to be expected, and also Mouser, which is pretty cool actually, which is obviously based off from the likes of the final boss from Super Mario 3D World, either on the Wii U or the Nintendo Switch, and also that he had a brief appearance from the likes of Super Mario Maker 2, and oh god, this particular bonus area, screw that. Oh my god, I can't stand that particular moving platform obstacle like that, because you know I'm not a big fan of, you know what I mean, with that particular level gimmick that you have to keep on, you know, changing directions with that platform, but luckily though, that you don't need to necessarily try to make your way to the end, so you can just, you know, try to find a bonus area, and that's all you have to really do for this point. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting that, I must be honest, but hey. So, yeah, I guess there's not much else you can say in terms of, oh yeah, about for the fact that, wow, I still keep on getting the fact that, wow, I was expecting to able to either get either Mouser and as well as, Cat Rosalina, but once again, keep on getting myself wrecked with all that very unlucky moments with the stupid gotcha moments once again. Seriously, I'm just getting sick of getting new forms of, you know, getting common items yet again. Specifically, car parts and gliders, and worst of all, some of these baby characters and Koopaline characters. I'm getting sick of getting them repeatedly throughout the majority of, well, during a weekly basis. So yeah, because as a result though, assuming if Nintendo decides to able to discontinue Mario Kart Tour, actually, I just want to get this out of the way first, because I will eventually try to make a video of a let's look at Mario Kart Tour at some point soon, until when God knows if Nintendo decides to able to get itself a massive closure for that game in the future. And let me tell you right off the bat, I still really hate that game. Because I can go back onto the previous Mario Kart games any day, like all 8 of them, including the arcade games as well, both Arcade GP1 and 2 any day, because, well, thankfully I can at least manage to control it properly with the control stick and everything, so, although I'll get to more details about that at some point in the future. So, anyways, let's move on to the next level in Big Ape City, and this appears to be, calls it Kong Crazy. Now, what's interesting about this level, and is also unique, is the fact that not only does it take place in a blimp, but also, get this, is that we actually going to be getting ourselves K-O-N and G earlier on, although for some reason I somehow accidentally died, because sometimes the enemies get a bit too close to me for my taste, but hopefully we'll try this again. So yeah, as you notice that we actually got ourselves all the Kong letters on that beginning portion. And as you can see on screen, every time you're able to activate something like a switch or something, if you manage to able to get all of the Kong letters, as you can see, basically those will act out as platforms. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting and uniquest level in the game, most notably because with all these Kong letters can able to do something a little bit more unique. So I kinda wish if other games can do that though, especially noticeable about the fact that this is the only time in a Donkey Kong Land game that actually did something unique and interesting, and I somehow get slipped up, and as a result I get hit by a Kremling right there, which is not that good, but oh well, we'll keep trying I suppose, but sometimes again, that my jumps itself does not come out after time, and also it can be delayed sometimes, which it can be a bit irritatingly painful, which is especially noticeable if you try to able to, like, God knows, trying to make things a bit hurry up and stuff like this, would I imagine, but I have no words to think about it, so hopefully we'll try this again for the 4th time, because I somehow died 3 times, because I think I blame on the controls for that part, because, well, then again, it is a bit slippery and imprecise sometimes, but that's probably just me. So, anyway, and I somehow got hit by that stupid snake, but that's alright, because I somehow get Diddy Kong, none regardless of anything else. So, anyway, and, yeah, let's just go ahead and grab the, Tnt Barrel for no reason, aside from just get rid of that. Although there's a G down there, but I'm probably not gonna risk it too much, because, well, kinda think about it, did I activate the checkpoint or something like that? I'm not exactly 100% sure. Oh wait, there's a checkpoint right there, so good thing we did manage to found that, regardless of anything else. But yeah, that's as far as I can say for this point, guys, although I will have to be, dang it, I somehow instantly died right there due to that screen scrolling, so, oh jeez. But hopefully, though, we almost nearly at the end of the game, so yeah, to be expected, because I won't give my final thoughts of the game until whenever we get into the forms of, well, the ending portion of this video, so let's not be hasty on this point just yet, but hopefully we'll try to make things a bit easier for ourselves, I hope anyway. Alright, so we'll just activate an N, but since I can't reach there, but at least I can do a roll jump technique, so that should be alright. And luckily, this particular level does have one bonus area, and that's what it appears to be if you activate the actual rope. So, all you get is just basically those spiky tires, and 2 of those Donkey Kong tokens, so... And I jumped in way too early than I was expecting! Oh, jeez, I have to start all over again. Oh, that's just great. I did not know I was able to actually just, well, I just did not realize. I just jumped too early. I'm telling you guys, the only thing that sucks about this game sometimes is the depth perception sometimes. Which, again, I'll get to my final thoughts of the game, although... that I don't normally, I don't hate the game necessarily. It's actually an okay game, but it's just that it does have quite a few problems. But then again, we'll point it out whenever we get into it, so... Alright, there we go. I think we managed to got that just okay. And there we go. Now we've made that leaps of faith right there. And, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to get rid of those armadillo-looking enemies right here before we, do anything. So, I'm pretty sure the tire can be used to able to actually get up to that G over there, but it's not even worth it, so... Plus, we're nearly at the end of, the game already, so, and not only that, we actually got a lot of lives, so that's something worth noting for, so... Anyway, so let's move on to the next level, which appears to be Construction Site Fight. And this takes place in the actual skyscraper, so, yeah, it does seem to look pretty cool, regardless of anything else you might as well able to expect, so, because, oddly enough, on the likes of, well, let's just say Mario Wikipedia, for some reason they confused us with the actual wrong name sometimes, but, that's probably because of how the fact that, well, usually relatively speaking, I can usually call this, like, Construction Site Fight, because I'm presuming this takes place in a construction site, basically, so I'm guessing it's like, I don't know, sense like confusion's sake, but I have no words to say, so, anyway, so let's just go ahead and, do this level. Now, I believe this level does have, 2 bonus areas, basically, so, and then, there's also another level that also features, 2 bonus areas, and, yeah, that's basically what I can usually think about it. Plus, much like Donkey Kong Country, you can able to do just that with the steel barrel, which I think I've already briefly shown you guys that, ever since in the first world, I believe, so... Ah, jeez, stupid beavers. Oh, wait a second, I think I actually spotted something very familiar. Yep, would you know it, it's a bonus area. And I wasn't exactly fast enough to able to get that 1-up balloon, but that's okay, because, again, we still got multiple hearts right here, representing lives, so there's nothing to worry about this anytime soon, so, because obviously we're very close towards the end, basically, so... And it's also worth knowing for that, again, if you manage to able to turn off the game and restart the game, basically your lives will reset, so keep this in mind. Unlike, you know, Donkey Kong Country Returns and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, basically your lives were able to be saved. So, yeah, to be expected by this point. Same applies to, you know, Super Mario Sunshine and Super Mario 3D Land and Super Mario 3D World. So, something's worth mentioning, so... And there's the second bonus area just right there, but I somehow got hurt by the forms of the spiky tire, but that's okay, because, well, I get a strong sense of feeling that another one of those Kong letters will be at, oh, just right here. Okay. And sure enough, after that leaps of faith, then the level's completed. So, yeah, this level's not too hard, I don't think. It's just the fact that with the screen resolution can throw me off at points. And I believe we are on 85% done with the game, so yeah, we're actually getting pretty close. So anyways, let's move on to the next level, which appears to be Fast Barrel Blast. Oh god, the barrel blast kind of levels. Oh jeez. Not looking forward to that kind of stuff though, although it does manage to take place in the actual blimp instead of likely a snowy themed kind of levels, unlike the first world, so I believe this particular stage has 2 bonus areas, and I think that we ended up on this particular bonus thingy again, like using the actual DK tokens again. And I think this will be the last time we're going to be seeing that particular mechanic, because until when we get into Donkey Kong Land 2 and Donkey Kong Land 3, basically though we don't come across into bonus areas like these, because obviously Donkey Kong Land 2 is inspired by, or is actually almost like based off from Donkey Kong Country 2, and Donkey Kong Land 3 is based off from Donkey Kong Country 3 almost, but either way though, well, I think we should probably use all of the tokens for the sake of trying to grind, you know, more 1-ups in particular, just for the sake of likely if we go into the hardest levels throughout. So, yeah, much like the forms of how it does on, well, it might be hard to say honestly, because even then though we're actually getting really close, so... And yes, much like the forms of one of those levels in Donkey Kong Country, specifically Snow Barrel Blast, basically we have to rely on barrel cannons, and I think to make matters even much more difficult than any forms of how it does it on the Super Nintendo game, likely Donkey Kong Country, is the fact that the timing on the actual barrel blasting can be a bit iffy at points, especially this is on the limitations on the Game Boy. So yeah, I have no idea why I just fell down right there, because I always get confused about the fact that if that particular bonus area was there, but I get the strong sense of feeling when it comes to forms the second bonus area, it will probably actually be at the very end of a level, so at least if I'm guessing correctly, so oh boy, we got to deal with a lot of trial and error situations like these ones, as you probably expect. So anyways, let's just go here and try to take down the crunch enemy and trying to use the tire to bounce onto and blast off to here. Okay, not doing too bad, I don't think. And of course, more bananas on top of that. Alright, so I'll just use this pick-like enemy to get good bounce height, and oh, I think I clearly see it for a split second. There we go. So there we go, so that's the second bonus area, and watch out for those spiky tires like so. And grab the G, and after that, the end of the level is just right there. So it's not too bad for what I've heard about it anyway, but it's a bit tricky enough as it is. So 88% done, so I believe we only got about 12% left until we reach the 100% requirements, so, or for the sake of 100% completion's sake. So anyways, let's move on to the next level, which appears to be Skyscraper Caper. And this takes place in a building site, so, or skyscraper nonetheless, so yeah, I have no idea. It's been a long while since I actually just managed to notice something like this happens to be, so, yeah, forgive me if I botched it. So, anyway, yeah, oh, I just realized something, is the fact that this level is very similar to one of those levels in Donkey Kong Country, which it appears to be like slip sliding ride from the likes of Donkey Kong Country 1, from the likes of that, you know, with the winter kind of level environment, except the fact that there's no color this time around though, although there is a bit of color, but ultimately speaking it's the fact that we no longer have blue and red ropes. So basically one rope will actually take you up and then the other rope can take you down. So yeah, it's a very similar level in concept wise, but it's now gonna take place in the actual like skyscraper kind of like level environment and stuff like that. So but I digress, but it's still a bit difficult as, it still feels a bit difficult enough as it is, because if you dare go up, if you try to able to actually let the rope force you to go up, basically it's all about screen crunch resolution, so that means, or in some cases, screen scrolling, so if you dare fall down, it's instant death, which it does kind of reminds me of the exactly the same issue as in one of those levels in Sonic the Hedgehog. Well, not so bad on the Game Gear though, despite the actual screen crunch, but to be more specifically on the Master System version of Sonic the Hedgehog 1, that if you fell off while the screen continuously scrolling through, you fell off and you die. So because of that though, you have to be very cautious with that. So yeah, that's as far as I can usually try to imagine for able to actually just well, it might be hard to explain because it has been like a couple of hours since I actually just managed able to get back to this since yesterday. But regardless of such though, is the fact that good news is the fact that we're nearly at the end. So now I suppose there's something worth mentioning for is the fact that well, do you guys even remember from the likes of about a year ago that I believe Knuckles did manage able to tackle for Knuckles Chaotix for about a year ago, that's showing you the extras of throughout the whole entire game. That was by far one of the shortest videos ever, but also after that Maxi has mentioned about the forms of the long final thoughts of the entirety of the miserable year last year. But this time around though, it's gonna make things a little bit more shorter, just like the forms of how it does it on ever since 2018 and 2019. So yeah, stay tuned for that once we get to the very end of the video itself. So alright, so we'll drop down here and go through there. And I have, luckily though, I'm presuming this level only has one bonus area. At least if I recall that correctly. So yeah, it's definitely one bonus area. So yeah, that's pretty much that. So And speaking of the bonus area, there it is right here. Although I guess basically it's just an end we need to go after. But we seem to be missing K and O, but that's okay, because obviously that we will able to have the ability to able to save the game eventually if we manage to able to continuously try to find, you know, more bonus areas in particular. So in this one, the jumps itself gets really picky, but hopefully I should be able to actually just to, you know, try to cope with it, I suppose. And by the way, on this last part, you have to wait, because obviously, if you've been so hasty and try to be fast, then those snakes will respawn, so you have to be very careful. So that is, I think this might actually be the hardest part about the level, at least for what I've noticed for some people, so... But luckily I did manage to do this, like, no problem, so... Anyways, we only got about 3 more levels left, so next level we have is... Tnt Barrel Blast. Oh, it's another Barrel Blast level, just like the first Barrel Blast level, except the noticeable difference this time, rather than taking place in a blimp again, instead we're going back into the construction site again. And on top of that, the main gimmick of this level is the fact that we have to rely on these little buttons, or switches, if you will. And every time you press one of those switches, basically the barrel direction will able to go into a different direction, and if you hop onto the barrel, you immediately go into the set of directions. So, yeah, that's a another cool level concept, which, yeah, that does look pretty cool in concept-wise, like I said. So, and I believe this level does have 2 bonus areas, so, oops, I did not meant to do that, because obviously that'll just leave me to death instantly, so that's okay, I suppose, because I believe this is also one of the shortest levels in the game, I think. At least I think so, anyway. So, yeah, not much else to say about this level, it's just about that, well, in order to progress, you have to keep on pressing those switches to able to let the barrel go into the specific directions, so, yeah, it's a pretty cool level. I'm not gonna lie. And also, is it just me, or is the actual construction site kind of music for this game? It does almost, it almost kind of reminds me like a Mega Man-esque music. Well, to be more specifically for the Game Boy Mega Man games, music-wise, which I have no idea why I say things like that. But anyway, oh, you notice with that banana down there? That's what the first bonus area was, and I somehow messed it up, but that's okay because. Relatively speaking, we found the midway point, so nothing to worry about this. And the second bonus area is actually right afterwards, so yeah, definitely the easier bonus areas to get. So yeah, how much of a cakewalk that is. And I believe we ended up on the last part of the levels that we need to avoid those beavers, and well, after that last press of the switch, and the end of the levels is right there. Can you see how that short that level was? I mean, seriously, that is a cakewalk. Anyway, so let's move on to the last regular level before the final boss of the game. So here we have Oil Drum Slum. And once again, we go back to a skyscraper kind of level. And also, this reminds me of the level from the likes of also in Donkey Kong Country. That appears to be by the forms of, I would say, Oil Drum Bash from the likes of the original game, even though it has been a long time since I actually last touched upon Donkey Kong Country, the original game, from the likes of not only for the Super Nintendo, but also for the Game Boy Advance as well. I still haven't touched upon the Game Boy Color version of the game yet, mainly because I always have struggled with the forms of not only the movement physics, but also with the forms of, you know, with the screen crunch and everything, where aside from that, a very cool feature about the Game Boy Color version is, of course, an exclusive level that was not found on the Super Nintendo version of the game, so... But let's try this again, shall we? So hopefully we would be able to just go ahead and try to do it successfully, so... And I believe this level also has the 2 bonus areas, so to be expected by this point. And I think this is the last level to able to feature bonus areas, because once we move on to, well, the final boss in the game, then we no need to worry about just trying to able to continuously trying to find, well, the bonus areas anymore, until, well, whenever we move on to, you know, Donkey Kong Land 2, and also Donkey Kong Land 3. So, yeah, that might be something worth noting for, so... And of course, like the forms of how it does it on the first Donkey Kong Country, that obviously we need to watch out for not to get touched by the forms of that fiery stuff and that oil drums, because obviously if you dare touch the flames, then you lose one of your Kong members, just like before. So, that's something worth noting for. So, yeah, I can't actually believe that we're actually breezing through certain levels quite fast. Even though, mind you, there are a few times that I keep on getting myself some trial and error moments like this, but regardless of such, and also, that's, it's just the fact that with the actual depth perception can bother me at points, but, yeah, it's just one of those questionable moments like this, but... Again, I'll get to my final thoughts of the game once we finish the main game, so I guess that's pretty much as far as I can usually try to mention about that stuff. Ah, jeez, that stupid beaver just pop out of nowhere. But thankfully we've got the midway point, so I guess that should be okay. At least as far as I'm usually concerned and alright with, so... And yeah, can you see I cannot commentate on this at this point, because obviously it requires a lot of concentration, because I can seriously highly doubt that, well, if I do commentate a lot while doing a pretty difficult platforming, then it will be outrageous and then can be very obnoxious for dying a lot. But anyway, oh yeah, something's worth mentioning, that I totally forgot to mention. And also, I believe Pac-Man hasn't mentioned about the either. Basically, relatively speaking, that thank you guys for able to actually support the channel again, and because basically we've now reached up to 450 subscribers now, and I can't even believe that we actually got 100 more subscribers throughout the whole year, which is pretty impressive, all things considered. Because I remember back in the old years that basically we haven't got that much subscribers back in the day, especially because, well, not only this is actually new to us, but also it's the fact that with how dark age that was for the past few years, because, well, it seems likely it's pretty obvious because of the quality. It looks horrendously bad back in the day, but now every now and then, ever since in 2015 and onwards, that gets a lot more better, especially noticeable with how excellent the quality of certain Let's Plays look. So anyway, so here's the first bonus area right here. It's pretty easy to miss for those who are first experiencing this level, because obviously that is usually because of screen crunch. And yeah, that right there, for that last bonus, the next bonus area that we've already found, that is the final time we'll definitely go ahead and swim underwater in this game, because until in Donkey Kong Land 2, basically we will be able to go back to swimming again, so that's something worth noting for, so... Alright, I can definitely tell this is one of the longest levels, and I somehow died again, so, whoops. But luckily we've got the midway point, so I think we should be okay, but it's just the fact that, again, with the lack of depth, and especially noticeable with how the fact that sometimes, I will have to admit though, getting hit by enemies is easy to do, sometimes, especially noticeable because in addition to the lack of depth, but also it's the fact that sometimes, I swear to God, the controls are so slippery sometimes, which, I have no idea why I just did that right there, but... this could take a while, guys, especially noticeable because, well, then again, it's just all about, you know, figure out the actual pattern for certain stuff, but either way, we'll just keep trying. Alright, so we just got to wait until when this fire goes. Oh, jeez, that was such a close call, but thankfully, we have made it, so... Oh, jeez, this is nerve-wracking! Okay. At least I'm safe from here, so... And I get the feeling that the last bonus area, not only for the sake of this level, but also the final bonus area in the game, is gonna be requires you to use the TNT Barrel and toss it onto the barrel drums, which immediately explodes, and yep, there's the final bonus area in the whole entire game. So all we get is just basically we'll get some 1-up balloons, and that's pretty much about it. So yeah, nothing more, but at least it's good to have more extra lives if you don't want to die too many times. So I guess that makes it very obvious. Alright, so just gonna have to make it. Okay, there we go. This should be alright. And hey, we got all the Kong letters at the very least, and also we got the exact same, you know, the rope obstacles since the previous level, so I guess that's that. And it's bad enough that we can't able to actually just do this final part without a DK Barrel response, so I guess it's up to me to able to do this with just Donkey Kong himself. And that was it! That's the whole level, so whew! That took quite a few minutes to able to complete it. And we actually are 98% done. So naturally speaking, we are now moved on to the final level in the game, and also the final boss of the game. So which appears to be, this level is called King K. Rool's or K. Rool's Kingdom. So yeah, we're about to be faced up against with King K. Rool himself. Just like how we did from the likes of Donkey Kong Country. Except a notable difference this time, it takes place inside the blimp as opposed to, well, the actual Gangplank Galleon. So, I guess it's a little bit different for a change. And also, this particular final boss itself is, I think I would say, a mix between easy and a bit tricky. Mainly because the easiest part is the fact that you obviously gonna have to stomp on his head quite a few times. And the trickiest part is the fact that not only for his attacks, but also is the fact that the screen resolution. So, I guess that might be the only trickiest part about the fight. So, but yeah, aside from that, you still have to watch out, and especially noticeable, whenever we get to this part, be sure to try to able to stay clear from the likes of trying to able to let King K. Rool trying to jump over you. So I think it's probably best able to find certain safe spots until you're able to don't get hit, so. And after when he's done that, then he's going back into throwing his crown projectile thing again, and it's up to you to able to stomp on his head a few more times until he's basically over. However, the biggest difference is that for this fight compared to Donkey Kong Country, the original, is the fact that if you think the game was over back in the original game, well, basically we get ourselves a credits sequence with the K at the beginning, and basically he's not over yet. Whilst in here though, basically after a few amounts of hits on him, he's done and over. I'm not kidding, that is the most easiest final boss in any other Donkey Kong game like this. Well, assuming if you know the patterns already. So, now after that, that was it. There's no ending cutscene, it's just cut straight to the credits. So, how anticlimactic that is. So, anyways, I should probably say this right now, that I'll give my final thoughts of Donkey Kong Land. And, is it a bad game? Not really. Is it perfect? Probably not. It was actually, I'm not gonna lie, a pretty good game, but it's not one of my favorites either. I mean, let's get to the positives though. Although, the negative stuff though, I think it's suffice to say, I think the negatives are, the story is kind of stupid, and also the physics has been a little bit wonky in certain scenarios, and also not to mention, the hit detection, and sometimes the lack of depth sometimes, to me though, it just feels kind of impossible for me. And I suppose another thing I would like to mention is that I really despise the moving platform kind of level, which you probably know what I mean since yesterday. And aside from all that stuff though, there are some interesting parts about the game I do like the gameplay is still pretty much exactly like Donkey Kong Country like we used to, except it's in black and white world, and also that the level themes is interesting, especially noticeable on Big Ape City as you expect, and also the soundtrack is, well, nothing remarkable. Especially this is on the 8-bit handheld compared to the superior Super Nintendo game, Donkey Kong Country. But aside from all that stuff though, it's a good game. I think you should definitely go and get it either on the original cartridge version or the 3DS eShop version if you decide to download the game if you're about to able to play the game on the go. But yeah, that's pretty much about it for Donkey Kong Land for the Game Boy, and I hope you guys are able to enjoy the final Let's Play of 2021. And yeah, this is me, Mighty the Armadillo, from the likes of the Maxi Toys. And until then, Maxi, he's coming right now. So yeah, enjoy the final thoughts of 2021. Yeah, thank you, Mighty. Hey everybody, this is me, Merxy here, from the likes of the Merxy Toys, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll present to you the final thoughts of 2021, to see how that's been compared to the likes of that monstrosity of how last year went. I think this year is okay. Not the best, but nothing perfect, but as a result though, it's just okay. Like, there are some good parts, but also some worse parts, and even some bad parts here and there. Let's get with the positives first. First of all, I enjoyed summer a lot, especially it's way more better than last year went. Because first of all, the Tokyo 2021 Olympic Games is pretty good, even though nowhere near as good as the forms of the previous years of the Olympics, specifically the Summer Olympics, because, you know, with the lack of spectators and stuff like that. And while the events and some new events are pretty cool and a sight to see, and that's basically how this goes. And also, I really enjoyed the actual summer vacation I just went to, despite the fact that I didn't go on abroad, because I'm still stuck in UK, but that's okay. Like, Dorset I went to is pretty good, and the Eastbourne Hotel is magnificently really amazing. And also, another thing I would like to mention, the game selections is actually way more better than the forms of how it does in last year's game selection, in my opinion. Stuff like you've got like Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, a really perfect port to the Wii U game, which is really great. And also we got new Pokemon Snap, which is really great back in the N64 days, and then they managed to bring that new Pokemon Snap game back, despite the fact that I no longer have that game anymore, sadly, mainly because I was into more other games, sadly. So, oh well, not the end of the world. And also we got The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, and that was a good game. And also we've got some very excellent titles here and there as well, including by the forms of Sonic Colors Ultimate, which is a really great, I wouldn't say a perfect port to the original Sonic Colors game back on the Wii, but certainly it's a great version of the game, specifically Sonic Colors Ultimate, despite in launch, it was really poor reception because of multiple glitches and collision detection issues, and thankfully they got a lot of patches throughout. So, and there's also Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, which is a really great game, despite there's some physics changes, but it doesn't bother me that much though, I don't think. But it's really great able to go back to the past again. And also there is Metroid Dread for the Nintendo Switch, which is a really impressive game indeed, especially after so long after the release of Metroid Fusion back in 2002 for the Game Boy Advance. And also, a new Mario Party game has just been released in this year, which is Mario Party Superstars, a really amazing Mario Party title. That's how it should be done in the first place, you know, back in the forms of 2017, but was on the 3DS instead. But oh well, at least we got the superior Mario Party remakes now, so at least that's that. And I believe I'll say the best for last is that the Super Smash Bros. Character roster lineup is really dang good. Except in Pyra and Mythra, in my opinion, because it doesn't impress me as much. Oh, I forgot about another game, Mario Golf Super Rush. Despite it was a bit rushed at launch, but it was actually alright. At least for me anyway. And let's not forget about the Super Smash Bros. DLC Final 3 fighters. I mentioned a bit before, Pyra and Mythra is okay, but Kaiyosa, from the likes of the Tekken games, it was interesting. But the biggest highlight for me, though, it was Sora from Kingdom Hearts finally comes into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I'm very happy and also crying at the same time because I was so excited able to actually see Sora in the Super Smash Bros. Game for reals. So yeah, aside from those side of things though, the game selections is very enjoyable. And let's not forget about the films themselves. The films themselves are really good. Like, for instance, the biggest highlight for me though, it was No Time to Die because, well, since I still adore James Bond stuff. And also Spider-Man No Way Home, that was really damn impressive for a 2021 film. And let's not forget ourselves for the brony standpoint, My Little Pony and New Generation. Despite the fact that it was on Netflix, I really enjoyed that too. So, not every single films can be perfect though, like Tom and Jerry the movie is Okay, but not my cup of tea, sadly. I much rather prefer the cartoons themselves. But yeah, aside from that, let's get to the bad stuff of this year, though, is the fact that, much like last year, they still mention about the forms of COVID-19 stuff again, but, either way, though, it's just that. It's just COVID-19 is still a miserable excuse for that. And, also another thing is the fact that for some reason, for one another, is the fact that I feel like, I don't know, it's hard to explain about another thing I would like to mention about, but I will say that the kidney stones did give me a lot of pain. That was easily the worst part about the year for me. But aside from that, with all these two negative sided things, but even then, this year, as I said, it was okay. But let's just hope that 2022 will be a lot more stronger than the other 2 years for sure. But I will say this right now, 2021 is a little bit better than the forms of how it does it on 2020, that's for sure. And also the final negative thing I was going to point it out is that, for God's sakes, news broadcasters, stop mentioning about the forms of COVID-19 stuff. That's getting old really fast, but that's just me. But anyway, aside from all that stuff though, I enjoyed this year for quite a bit. It's not my favorite year in the world, but certainly it's not the best year either. It's just okay. So, yeah, not every single year can be perfect though, you know? So, yeah, let's just wait and see what happens until 2022 decides to roll around. Specifically, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie, it should be on its way in next year in 2022, which I'm really looking forward to it. And also some other games coming out for it, like, for instance, Sonic Frontiers, as well as, you know, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Splatoon 3, and Kirby and the Forgotten Land for the Nintendo Switch. I was really looking forward to those titles, and maybe they'll announce some more titles coming out for it. I don't think they're able to do the next new Mario Party, because obviously we've got the recent one, Superstars, so I don't think they'll probably do the next Mario Party anytime soon. So, maybe for DLC, I'm not exactly sure, but we'll see what happens. And also, there is Sonic Prime, the Netflix series I was really looking forward to. And maybe we might as well get some new infos for the sake of Brony community for the likes of My Little Pony Generation 5 stuff in the future. Well, at least what I've heard about it, even though despite the fact it has been a while since I actually known about the news related to that stuff, since after when a new Generation film came out on Netflix. So, but yeah, that was pretty much as far as I can say in terms of 2021 itself. It was okay, like I said, but let me know in the comments below of what you think about the forms of 2021 so far, even though that after the fact that 2021 is now finished. So yeah, we are now moving on to 2022. So let's just hope that that year will be great as ever. Oh, and lastly, the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympic Games is going to be on its way too, despite the fact that it'll pretty much do exactly the same thing as Tokyo 2021 for this year, so, like, less spectators and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and this is me, Maxi, here from the Maxi Toys, and until then, let's move on to 2022, and Happy New Year for that day. Bye.